and welcome, Craig. I appreciate it. Just a little bit of background on Craig. He is a graduate of ETSU and owns and operates Craig's Crown Cuts, which is a successful barbershop located in downtown Johnson City. Just recently came onto the Barber College on Commonwealth Avenue in Bristol, Virginia. And he has served the Johnson City community for a very long time. So his newest challenge is to help others learn the skills needed to succeed in becoming a master barber. And he is the Tennessee liaison for the Confess Project, which, like I said before, helps barbering students and barbers create a trauma responsive lens usage for people who are in their chair, because that is a safe space for a lot of people, and they wanted to help support people's mental health. So Craig, I am going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate you guys, and just being a part of this is wonderful, because a lot of times we in our community, we understand how important mental health is. Mental health is something that is so important, because without mental health, you can't take care of your family. You can't take care of a household. There's so many things that are associated with mental health. And before I became part of this movement, the Confess Project, I didn't realize how mental health play a vital role in leveling the playing field for everyone, especially young boys of color and African-American men. So the Confess Project was started in Little Rock, Arkansas by a guy named Lorenzo Lewis. He has no affiliation with barbering. He just realized that with barbers being a pillar in our communities, most men and young boys of color, we go to our barbershops and we build relationships with our barbers. So his goal is try to get as many barbers trained to be advocates for their communities. We realized that 4% of clinicians in the mental health field are minorities, and 2% are males. So a lot of times, a lot of young boys of color, African-American men, they don't get the fair shake and the shot to get mental health, because they don't have a safe place for themselves and people to talk to. So what we realized to use the barbershop in a setting to create that safe environment. And we come up with 4 points: positive communication, active listening, validation, and reducing the stigma. Our whole goal is to give people in the areas, in rural areas and across the country, opportunities, again, just to level the playing field, just to get a shot, whether it may be get a regular job or go to the trade school or even go to a 4-year college, whatever it may be that you figure is going to help you level the playing field. So my job in the state of Tennessee is I go across the state and I train barbers in that field. I have 2 schools in Johnson City, Tennessee, and in Bristol. Right now, took over Bristol School, formerly Bristol School of Hair Design. And I'm just actively looking to kind of immerse myself in the community in this area like I have in the Johnson City area. I think you can build from within, and you can build your community from within and spread out. And we just have to work together and try to grow from there. I don't know what else to say. I'm open for questions, and I can kind of go off of that. So if anyone has a question they would like to ask it to me, I can respond in an appropriate manner.
Could you just list those 4 goal areas again, just so we can make sure that we get those?
First, positive communication. You want to have positive communications as a barber to your client. Let them know that, hey, I've been there. I understand what you're going through. Just stay on the positive note, because we understand when you're positive, you get through to people. You have to maintain a low, even keel voice tone. So the first one is positive communication. The next one is being an active listener. Being an active listener, I think we all can play a role as well in that, not just for mental health, but for our families, for our spouse, for our friends, family members. Being an active listener is something that's real vital. And reducing the stigma. When you reduce the stigma, you give people the opportunity to understand that, hey, I've been there. It's okay to not be okay. And when you're in a role of significance, most people look at you and you look up to you. And a lot of times they don't think that you being this strong, big person, bold and broad, that you're not going through certain situations. But that's false. That's false, because everyone goes through something, no matter if we have a tie on, if we don't have a tie, if our hair is made up, if we have a haircut, if we don't have a haircut, if we have makeup on, if we don't have makeup on. We all go through some stuff. So you have to, the next one is reducing stigma, like I said, and the last one is reducing stigma. So active listening, positive communication, validation is the third one, and reducing the stigma. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Craig. What other questions might you all have for Craig? So Craig, if you'll talk a little bit, we know that people who have adverse childhood experiences or toxic stress in their history often have lifelong negative health outcomes. One of those can be mental health challenges. Yep. As they get older. I'm specifically thinking about depression. And so people who might come into a shop with one of your barbers who has had a longer term depression and might not have been able to care for their hygiene. Right. So is that something that one of the things that you do address with your barbers is how to respond to people who?
Yes. I mean, like I said, basic thing we teach my students right now is just to be an active listener. We do something right now in Johnson City. We have yet to do it in Bristol. I don't have the contact set in Bristol, where we have a free haircut date for the community, for homeless people, underprivileged. And people just go through a tough time the first Thursday and the last Thursday of the month in Johnson City. And that gives my students opportunities to kind of get to know someone, to just to listen, and just to be a care for someone, because everybody's going through something. And during those times, we pass out sanitary needs, socks. We give some a warm meal, some coffee, just to kind of let people know who are going through a tough time, whether it might be homeless or anything, any tough traumatic thing you're going through. That there's someone that cares about you. Maybe you might want to. You have a job opportunity coming up, and you don't have the funds to groom yourself. We do those things too.
Wonderful. Other questions for Craig?
Hey, Craig, it's Brandy. I was just wondering, do you when you're talking with your future barbers and hairstylists, do you require them to have any kind of ACEs certifications or any kind of formal training?
Well, we're not specialists. So what we do is just kind of, we bridge the gap. We bridge the gap to our clients and let them know, hey, we're not specialists, but we understand what you're going through. Here's a number that you can call. So we refer everyone to a specialist, someone who has the training for that, the sheroes and the heroes out there. Just like most people who go to their hairstylists, the nail technicians, we started with barbershops because we realized that men, for one, they don't go to the doctors, they don't get help, and they always try to tough it out. And just trying to reduce that stigma, just giving the people the opportunity to understand, hey, young boys of color and African-American men especially, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to see someone. I have been there. And I know so many people in the community look up to me, and when they hear coming from my voice that I have been there, it's okay. Here's a number you can call to help yourself. And that's as far as the training as we go. Because before I was part of this Confess project, I was always an active listener, but I would not go to the second step and say, here's the 1-800 number. Here's someone in the community that you should call. I didn't know I can do those things. So it's just the basic steps of teaching someone to put them in the direction for that help.
I appreciate all you're doing and how you're helping your community. If you ever get to the point that you would like some training opportunities for your folks to go through, just let us know, because I think we probably know some really good trainers and ACEs in trauma-informed care.
I would welcome it. If you can take my number and give me a call, I would welcome that. Because I know it's so much more than what we're doing, but just the basic steps that we're doing help. I didn't realize about ACEs until after I came to the Confess Project, and we try to keep it as basic as possible for the barbers because we didn't know how much more training there is, but obviously there's so much more and so much more people willing to help. And with the start that we have with the Confess Project, we welcome any more help that we can get, especially for the students. I think it's real important to start them off on their journey to become a professional in this career, to have some type of skills to give to their clients besides just the service.
Hi, Craig. This is Tina McDaniel, and I don't know if you remember me, but I experienced crown cuts with my father whenever he was going through dementia. And as part of the dementia, he was depressed. And one of the things that, caused him to be depressed was that he couldn't get out and do the things that he would normally do. And one of those things was going to the barber shop. Right. So I just remember a couple of times in Johnson City, I brought him to the barber shop, and I don't know if that just kind of like restored his dignity and made him feel good about himself. And it really helped with that depression. So I appreciate the work that you're doing. So thank you for being on our call today.
Thank you for having me. It's important. With the barbershop being a pillar in the community for so many years, going back to the travels in the South when most African Americans had to, when they wanted direction, wanted a place for some comfort, they would stop at barbershops. So barbershops play a major role and have been playing a major role for so long. And just being part of this Confess Project, just adding the extra layer to the process of healing for people, it makes me happy and proud.
So Craig, I think this is awesome, and want to know what kind of, in Bristol with starting out, what kind of customers are you looking for? Is it just barbering? Is it women's hair? And what can we do to help support and spread the word?
Well, I've been in Bristol now, I think about 9 months. And we have cosmetology, we have barbering, we have aesthetics, and we do nails. So we service men, women, children, age, creed, it doesn't matter. I would really just like to kind of like immerse myself in a community like I have in Johnson City and try to do some more free stuff for people who are going through a hard time. I don't really know where the social services are yet.
You're looking at a lot of them right here.
I can tell you there are a ton of them on this screen right now.
So I'm hoping this to team up and just kind of be a mentor and help some kids in the area as well.
Awesome. What about, are you working in Johnson City with the school programs at all, or have any connections, or is that any way part of the model or an aspect that could be helpful?
Well, pre-COVID, we were working with the alternative school in Johnson City and trying to set up a program for those kids to have an option into the industry of barbering, cosmetology, nails, or aesthetics. And I know Kiera, I forgot her name, she's in Kingsport, and she has mentioned that in the past week of trying to start a program in Kingsport at the alternative school as well, to give those kids an opportunity and a chance just to kind of level the playing field. So they can start it with a career. Like I said, I'm just new to Bristol, and if I could find my way around, I would love to be included in some type of way to help the population and the kids in Bristol move forward.
I think we can help you do that.
Thank you.
Be thrilled.
Absolutely.
I don't really know that you realize what you've got yourself into with this group, sir.
Well, it's part of one of my mottos was, I went to college, you learn, you serve, and then you return.
Absolutely, and that's beautiful. And I think, one of the amazing things that that this does is not only does it help your barbers support the people in their chair, but it helps your barbers themselves, because they know what to do when this happens now, because there's really not much worse feeling than having somebody pour their heart out to you and not having any idea where to go with that.
Yes, yes. And that's not being, when you're not a specialist, you don't know where to turn. But we have skills in listening for one, but the next step is just passing it on and giving it to someone who's equipped to take care of that trauma and help with that trauma.
Absolutely.
So I think what Melissa can do is immediate follow-up for you is to send you our resource that we reach out to, which is servingtricities.org. Also, Melissa, I'd say Craig might be interested in Unite Us. Even joining that Ballad is promoting for the region. The state of Virginia is paying for it in Virginia and across the whole state. It's a referral system and where you can find referrals. And we also have a website, Serving Tri-Cities, which so that it's spreading out. So it started Bristol area, so probably has some Johnson City resources on it as well. And also she can follow up. Gary McGow is someone in our Bristol community who works with lots of nonprofits and sends out regular emails with updates. And that's in addition to Bristol's Promise that you're working with right now, that we also have regular newsletter that you can be on and be connected, etc. So those are several of the different ways. And Melissa, one more thing is Believe in Bristol for our downtown community to get on their newsletter emailing list as well. So we do have lots of ways to connect folks in various directions. So we can follow up with that immediately and work with that. So it's great. Fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Other questions for Mr. Charles? Wonderful. Well, Craig, again, cannot thank you enough for coming and talking with us today. Margaret, did you have something you were? Oh, you're on mute.
I'm seeing Nancy Cook talking and she was muted. So.
Oh, Nancy, I didn't see. Sorry.
What about Craig Charles' phone number or contact information?
Yes, my number is 857. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Great.
857-891-3550. And I'll put my email in the chat as well.
Okay. And Craig, I had already started a chat where I was going to add your phone number and your email address. So what is your email that you want to use?
It's Craig Charles, 857-891-3550.
Okay. And your email?
Craig Charles 408 @gmail.com.
Perfect.
And perhaps, I don't know if you have a few more minutes with the folks that are on here, and I don't know if you want to continue recording that part or not, Melissa, but we could go around and just say briefly who we represent, so you'd have an idea of some of the mixture of folks that
and
are
that's
on
what
here.
we're getting ready to head into.
Right.
Is, you know, so first of all, I do want to say Melanie Eisen, in case you can't see the chat, posted, Craig, this is awesome and makes my heart happy. Thank you for what you're doing. So just so you know that. But again, thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you can stick around, because what I would like to do is go around the room, and I'm going to go in order of what I have over here on my screen. But if you would just say, you know, your name and who you're with, if you have any brief updates to give, and then, you know, we can go back and forth with, you know, if Craig has any questions, trying to get him connected to the community. Does that sound like a plan? All right. Margaret, you're first on my list.
Hi, I'm Margaret Firerobin, and I serve as president of the board of Bristol's Promise. And so very much in a lot of this work that we've been talking about with ACEs and trauma and children, families, and youth. Children, youth, and families. And also, though, a lot of my time in the last several weeks helping with Family Promise at Bristol, which Kingsport and Johnson City both have Family Promise programs. Ours are different. We no longer do the in the congregation program. We have a big grant to try to help prevent eviction and trying to help folks with that and refer people who are homeless to services, which is incredibly frustrating because there need to be so many more services. But anyway, and I also serve on our Bristol, Tennessee City Council as well. So that's a little bit. Thanks.
Thank you, Margaret. Appreciate that. Okay, y'all are all moving around on me. So Tina McDaniel.
Yes, I am Tina McDaniel, and Craig, of course, I reached out to you, and I've had the Crown Cuts experience with my dad. So I'm with Bristol's Promise. I'm the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Brandy Peters.
Hey, Craig, I'm Brandy Peters. I am also with Bristol's Promise. I'm sorry that you can't see my hairnet and earplugs and face mask and safety glasses. I'm on site with a partner business today. I'm mostly responsible for the Bristol Connect and the ACEs Trauma Informed Care Network. I partner with local businesses in the community and provide frontline resources to frontline workers with resources to kind of help mitigate ACEs and trauma and help them be better employees so they can go home and take care of their families. So very much similar to what you were teaching your folks to do. And it's hard work, and it's there needs to be more community resource navigators. Super busy, and definitely have learned so much from my experience with Bristol's Promise, and I look forward to partnering with you as well.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
And I'll add to that, she's working to help employees be better employees, but the program is also to help employers be better employers. So that's a piece of the program as well. So yes. Thank you, Brandy.
Yeah. Casey? Are you still
My name's Casey Caudell. Sorry, yeah, I'm mute. My name is Casey Caudell, and I am the new Northeast Regional Coordinator for the Mental Health Association of East Tennessee. And my job primarily, right, serving the 8 counties in Northeast Tennessee, is to work with schools, middle and high schools. We teach this free mental health 101 course, and talking to kids about stress management and signs and symptoms of mental health conditions, bullying, self-harm, suicide prevention for our older kids. But we also offer the same type of mental health 101 kind of overview presentation, or even, like I said, kind of focused presentations. So things on self-care and coping for employers and churches and educators and et cetera, right? Anyone and everyone. So, Craig, I think what you're doing is awesome. And I just mimic what everyone else is saying.
Thank you, Casey. And Craig, you are going to find that even though this small group here, there are lots of trainers and trainings and resources that you will have access to. So, Christina.
Hey guys, good morning. Craig, Christina Blevins. I'm the Community Development Specialist for the City of Bristol, Tennessee, and I think we've actually met a time or two. I was working with the city to do some small business festivals here a couple years ago. So I'm glad that you're in Bristol, be it on the Virginia side. We are happy to have you. Our city believes that trauma responsive community is very important. Obviously, Margaret sits on our council, so but our city services have had multiple trainings on becoming a trauma responsive community. I know the police department is trained, the fire department is trained, and I think maybe even some other services. So thank you for what you do. And if I can ever be of service to you, please let me know.
Thank you, Christina. Carrie Lynn, I know you're traveling, but if you are able to.
She's driving, Melissa, so
Okay.
she's unable to.
Okay. And I knew she was traveling. I just wanted to give her an option if she could. All right, Marissa.
Hi, I'm Marissa Arambaru, and I am with Village Behavioral Health, and we are actually a residential for adolescents 13 to 17 for mental health and substance use disorder. And really, the only new development I have is hopefully we're going to be taking kids 11 and 12. So we're going to try to go younger. Our program is more like a rustic summer camp type vibe. So we're clearing out a cabin for the 11 and 12-year-olds. We're coming up with a curriculum. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have that in motion by the first of the year. So
That's exciting.
yes, and Craig, I love what you're doing. I especially love that you're helping people that, you know, can't necessarily afford, you know, to go get a haircut. And I don't know, just getting a haircut in general and like getting shaved or whatever, you feel kind of like a different person, you know. And I would like, hopefully, maybe to partner with you in the future for, I make like homeless bags. I don't really do it for anyone or any organization. But I just like to do it. So I usually include things like hand warmers and socks, deodorant, you know, personal hygiene items and things like that. Granola bars and things if I can put in there, you know, the food that'll kind of keep a little bit better. So yeah, I might be dropping by some of those for you as well. That way you can help hand them out so we can help each other there.
Yes, ma'am. It's important, especially as the weather's starting to change and turn.
Yes.
We service a lot of people during that time.
And there's a lot of places you can get free coats as well. So we can pick up some free coats and drop them by because I know, yeah, it's very important. So,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Thank you, Marissa. Appreciate it. And I think we still have some coats, don't we, Margaret? Your infamous yellow coats.
We have a few very bright yellow coats. If anybody wants them, and I forget which size we have, maybe large and extra large, and we probably have 6 or 8. So if anybody wants, Craig, if you want me to drop off a couple of those, I can do that. I also have a men's coat that's very nice that I could drop off as well.
That'd be great.
So yeah, these yellow coats are like, oh my gosh, it's kind of glow in the dark yellow. It's pretty crazy. It's obvious why we got these. I think they came from Belk. And so when we saw them, it was like, oh, no wonder they gave us their whole creation shipment of it. So anyway,
Yeah.
but I think they're warm.
Yeah. Melanie, with your cat ears.
Yeah, as I've made my way around Zoom meetings today, it's attracted attention. So
are they virtual or are they real?
No, those are real.
It's hard to tell.
Well, real-ish, like she doesn't actually have cat ears, I don't think.
No, that's just a headband. I'm going to a trunk or treat, so I'm ready for Halloween and hanging out with the kids tonight. So, but Craig, yes, I think what you're doing is awesome. It makes my heart happy to hear things like this. And I'm also a trauma and I'll tell you who I am. I work for the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition as the prevention coordinator. And a lot of what I do is talking to kids about prevention, talking to parents about how to talk to their kids about not doing drugs and alcohol. But I'm also a trainer for trauma-informed in adverse childhood experiences, the Building Strong Brain. So anytime you would want a trainer, just give us a call. I'll be glad to schedule that with you or anybody that would be interested. But yeah, what I think you're doing is awesome and it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So happy Halloween.
and Melanie is also certified in SAMHSA, trauma responsive care training. Don't forget, Melanie, we've been through so many of those T4Ts together.
Yeah.
So, and there are specific ones for faith organizations, law enforcement, those types of things. And so, yeah, like I said, lots of trainers out here, Craig. Thank you, Melanie. Tongai? would you like to introduce yourself?
I am muted. Hey, Craig, my name is Tongai. I'm the
How you
coordinator
doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm the coordinator of the Office of Inclusive Excellence at Northeast State Community College. Thank you for your presentation. ACEs is an area that, I'm passionate about, especially having worked with youth in foster care. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. And we welcome you to our network and hope that you will continue to join us, Tongai. We're thrilled to have you. Nancy Cook.
There we go. I'm mostly retired now, but I've certainly worked with several of you as a grant writer and consultant with SCORE years ago. Melissa, Melanie, we know each other. Of course, Margaret. My current involvement is as a supporter of Samuel Jones in the Buckle Up for Life program with child safety training and child car seats. My remaining official position is a member of the Industrial Development Board of Bristol, Tennessee. We are in the Industrial Development Board very interested in workforce development, and we see that some of the issues in workforce development probably come from ACEs, so that the link between trauma-informed care training and workforce development is something that needs to be worked on further. We're working closely with Deirdre Pendley, who runs the Career and Technical Education program at Tennessee High, and we need to get some increased links there.
Absolutely, Nancy. Thank you. All right. And last but absolutely not least, saving the best for last, Miss Rachel.
Oh, well, my camera appears to not be on.
Oh, you just muted.
Sorry, I am the Community Services Director at Sullivan County Regional Health Department. And so I do a lot of programs related to like healthy eating and physical activity. And we also have tobacco prevention, healthy relationships, and teen pregnancy prevention, as well as a pregnancy and smoking program as well. And then we have a lot of other resources at the health department too. So if you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out. And we really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And thank you everybody for taking the time to kind of give a little intro of who you are. Like I said, this video, I'll be posting it in the Promise Network under the Appalachian Trauma Responsive Care Network group. So you'll have access to it there and be able to say, now who was that again? And what were they doing? And what was their update?
Yes.
Yeah, so if y'all have not joined that yet, I hope that you will. Any other questions? Craig, do you have any questions for anybody who that whole list?
No, I just want to say thank you for inviting me, and it was wonderful just kind of meeting you guys, and look forward to working with you guys in the future. My hope is to start a Big Brother program in addition to the Confess Project, where I team up a barber with a student from 16 and under, so we can mentor them throughout the school year and just kind of inspire them to think about themselves and their careers and what they want to be.
Yeah, and Craig, you and I talked about that a little bit. I didn't want to be the one to bring that up, but I am glad that you did bring that up because, you know, Nancy mentioned Deirdre Pendley, who's the Career and Technical Education at Tennessee High, and there are some other folks in our community that we might be able to connect you with to look at doing that.
Yeah, with that, maybe you can, your program can fall into other programs so you can have your part. I think Bristol, Virginia is working on schools, is working on stuff, and also hopefully in conjunction with the schools, because he's retired teacher, Ben Talley, who is very, very well known in our community, just recently retired as teacher, received the National Teacher of the Year several years ago, was one of 5 for that year, and is highly respected and a huge mentor to kids. And he was starting a program as well. So there may be ways that you could hook on so that you've got yours with support with other folks who are doing the same kind of work. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. I told you it would probably be a short meeting. Look at us a little bit early, a little bit before 11. I do want you to save the date. As you all know, traditionally, we have done a coordinated meeting in December with our Youth Networking Alliance. This year, it will be on December 2nd. Save the date. We're doing things a little bit different this year. It's going to be a holiday get-together. So we encourage you to wear your antlers, to wear, your Christmas tree hats. Margaret, your
cat ears, you can wear them
sure,
again. They're green, they look like Christmas. That'll be good.
Margaret has this great elf hat that she does. So we do, just a time for us to really just network and come together and commune. We'll have some breakout rooms and some trivia. It'll be a drop-in kind of event over the course of time, but save the date for December 2nd. We will be doing that. I will send you all the MOU and post it in the Promise Network group. Craig, I will be sending you a whole bunch of stuff. So, but if you do have any additional needs or questions, please reach out to us. We're here to support each other and make sure that we're moving our community forward to be more trauma responsive and kind to each other overall and supporting everybody.
Melissa, do you know what time? Because we have 2 different times on the 2nd. It could be at 10, or it could be 11, or it could be 12.
I do not have a time yet. Is there a press? It's kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because our trauma responsive care network meetings start at 10. Our youth network meetings start at noon. And so, I am leaning towards noon so that if people need to take it on their lunch hour to come in, that might be a better thing. So let's go ahead and say, I'm going to make an executive decision. Let's say December 2nd from noon until 2. Sound like a plan?
Yeah. And we can try to do any of the more organized stuff early on so people don't stay that long, stay for the full time.
But bring your eggnog, bring your hot chocolate.
It's virtual.
It is virtual. Yes, it is virtual. It will be via Zoom. So, all right. And Tina said, thank you, Craig, for the great work you're doing and for being our guest today. I look forward to further opportunities to connect you with the community. And really, I can't thank you enough for coming and talking to us and letting us know the work that you're doing. We are so appreciative of this. Most people, when they think of trauma responsiveness, they don't think, oh, our barbers need to, our estheticians need to be trained. But so thank you for bringing this innovation to our region. We're thankful.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay warm, and we will see you December 2nd, if not before, in the Promise Network.